If you guys need cheap coins, check out FIFA coin stock down below in the description, dirty at checkout. And if you want cheap games, cheap codes, G2A also down below. What's happening, beautiful people? My name is Dirty Mike and welcome back to the journey where I'm building different squads. We progress through divisional play, get involved in some tournaments, and as always, I'm dropping feedback on which players have that potential. They need to be in the starting 11 and other guys that you should leave on the transfer market. Don't put them into your squad. And if you enjoy the content, smash that like button. Let's aim for 600, 700 likes. It tells me that you want more squad building and to keep pushing out this content left, right, and center. Today, my friends, we've got another fun squad builder, the tallest cheap hybrid. Under 15,000 coins, easy to remake and replicate. If you guys could hit me with a comment right now, who are some of the best slow players in FIFA Ultimate Team? And I'm kind of bringing that up because this squad is full of a bunch of tall guys. They're kind of wide, they're a bit bulky, and they aren't fast. For the most part, you're not going to get players that have tremendous size that are going to out-sprint the opposition. And we're going into single matches. I didn't think this squad was going to work out all that well in divisions. In a tournament, maybe. I wasn't really sure. They actually outperformed my expectations. And we start out the game with a bang. Bentner, quick little body feint, taps it under the goalkeeper, 1-0. And playing in snow is dreadful. Oh, it's so hard. I haven't played very many matches in the snow, mainly because my home stadiums are always indoor orientated, so we can avoid a lot of rain, avoid a lot of weather conditions. But in the snow, as we get a great save there from Szczesny, I was trying to watch what my opponent was doing almost via the radar. It was so difficult to keep up with all the white patches on the pitch, as we do give up a rebound goal. I think that was Carlos Vela who got on to the end of that. It was probably deserved. 1-1 at halftime, pretty even first half, and I was having trouble with some of the through balls. Dos Santos gets on the end, keeper makes a mistake. I didn't give him the best starting position there. I was kind of stuck in no man's land, didn't know if I wanted to bring him out, did I want to keep him in, and do we get a chance? Can we finish, Bentner? Oh, and we've got a penalty kick. And that was needed. And we've got Myers stepping up to the spot, and I've never used this player before, but I thought he was a nice addition. He really has a stellar shot, and he can shoot from distance as well as facilitate from distance. If you had him in a more central role instead of a 4-2-2, where he's the only cam, I think he'd be a little more valuable as we get a big time save. That was prime time. Prime time, 88th minute. Peter Crouch, are you in the box? You want to get on the end of this. Bentner provides, he slides, he finishes, and we're up 3-2. And that's going to close out the match. Give him a little dance, Peter. Yeah, walk it. Walk it, Peter Crouch. And I've always been a personal fan of Peter Crouch as well as Lord Bentner in real life. I think both of them are under a lot of scrutiny that they don't necessarily deserve. Crouch because he's not outstanding at scoring headers, even though he is 6'7". And Bentner, I think playing for Arsenal, you have these major expectations. Obviously, he doesn't play there now. And I don't think he ever lived up to some of the Arsenal hype, as that was what kind of finish was that about? Nothing much to show you in the first half. Let's talk about the team. So I've got Szczesny in net, and he's actually one of my favorite goalkeepers in the BPL. Szczesny's really big, and he outperforms a lot of his card value statistics. If you haven't used him, I recommend it. I've probably played 15, maybe even 20 games with Szczesny at this point in different squads, and it always works out for the best. I rarely find myself complaining because of a goalkeeper in error. Then we have Jansen as a left back, and he's one of the best left backs in the Bundesliga, even though he's a non-rare. He's 6'3". He's physical. He has a good first touch. Look at Meyer. Can we finish? Can we finish? Yes! And we've got 1-0 lead, 117th minute. However, being a little bit overconfident, I was feeling good about that goal. It took a lot of hard work. We concede in the 120th minute, and we're off the penalty kicks. That's frustrating. And my opponent had a good breakdown play. I made a defensive error, and whenever you make any sort of large defensive error, it's typically costly. And this is a crazy penalty kick shootout. It could have gone either way. I was blocking some, he was blocking some. It was just going to be whoever's day was a little bit better. And not even in terms of reading the situations, but making those big saves, making those big blocks. How well was your placement going to be? And as we started progressing, I realized a lot of my players in this squad are not very good at penalties. We have this tiny little green bar we're aiming for, but we do get a big save. Jansen closes it out, uses that big left foot. And Naldo and Mertesacker, interesting combination. You guys know I rock with Naldo. I think he's a great center back, even with weird work rates. He's 6'6", and Mertesacker is better than you would think. I wouldn't go ahead and recommend just using them and abusing them in a bunch of different squads. If you slide tackle pretty well, you're good at timing slide tackles, as we see a poorly timed slide tackle. Red card, get out of here, Chris Smalling. Mertesacker's better. He covers a lot of ground, and Meyer, good at free kicks. Can you showcase? Ooh, just off the post. And we have Jeff Cameron, the American. He used to play for my hometown club, Houston Dynamo. He's actually a nice little right back. If you need a physical, another guy that's really big, he's about 6'3". He's a good guy to have into your squad. Even if you're making a regular BPL team, you want to mix it up, maybe a silver squad. As we grab the opening goal, Bentner gets on the end, and look at Crouch here. Walk around him. And how does he do that? How do you miss that finish? That's embarrassing. And the MVPs of the squad might actually be Gustavo and Diaby. Both of them are about 6'2". As you see this free kick on display, wow. That was out of nowhere. This guy had not been making chances. He had the red card, and then he just whips that out of his back pocket. I was definitely impressed. But Diaby and Gustavo, they're not as tall as some of the players in the squad, but they're a little more mobile. As we're speaking about Gustavo, he gets the finish there, 2-1, 76th minute. And I just think they do a lot of chasing back, and they help make things more predictable for the center backs. And when you don't have really pacey center backs, that can be an issue. As we concede a penalty kick, he smashes it up the middle, I guess wrong, and it's deuce 2-2, and that's frustrating. He gave me kind of the up yours, but hey, FIFA karma is funny. As we draw a penalty kick, Bentner was always falling down, and then Meyer and Barkley as center attacking mids. I thought Meyer did a great job. He was in the right places. He did a good job at facilitating. Barkley was a little bit of a disappointment for me, because I've used him in FIFA. I had big expectations. Look at Mertesacker on the corner kick, and he's going to provide. And Crouch gets on the end of that 4-2, and that's going to close us up. We're going 3-0 with this team. And I'm not going to say the matches were easy, because they weren't. But I did enjoy the challenge, and it's nice to have a squad full of just monsters. They're very big guys. And then Peter Crouch and Bentner. I preferred Bentner in FIFA 15 thus far. But neither of them are going to give you anything crazy. If you're going to partner them up in a squad, try to put them with someone who's fast. In terms of pros, you've got strength, size, good defensive shape. The CDMs, as I was saying, woo, they taste good, man. Like Cinnamon Toast Crunch in the morning. We had 3 wins. I gave the squad a 6 out of 10. It's playable. I wouldn't recommend going into high-level divisions or anything. And in terms of cons, you don't have pace, you don't have the skills, the turns are rather slow. These are things that are expected when you built this squad. I gave the marquee player actually to Szczesny. I think it's the first time I've ever given it to a goalkeeper. But he made so many crucial saves, and he's been so consistent. I wanted to go ahead and talk about how good Szczesny is so people can get on board. Get on the Szczesny train. He's a player that you'd like to have in a lot of BPL squads. I can put a lot of money behind that. If you enjoy the content, smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook at DirtyMikeUSA, and I have a lot more content coming to you ASAP.